Hi, welcome to Friday Night Chats. Hope everybody is having a great week. It's still raining in Los Angeles, and whenever it rains, we have one of those outdoor heaters. I forget what they're called. They're like electric, I think. I don't know. But whenever it rains here or the wind blows, for some reason it thinks it's an earthquake and it shuts down. And so a couple times this week we haven't had hot water. It's so annoying. So I got in the shower this afternoon because I woke up late, and then I started doing a puzzle. And so then when I got into the shower, it was freezing cold, and so I only washed my feet. So you are getting an unwashed Garage Geek for your enjoyment this afternoon. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, in my last video, Sleepy Reader 666 had sent me a present, but I didn't want to open it. I wanted to open it under the tree. And so I was pretty sure it was a puzzle. And when I opened it up, I started cackling. It's this Space Chicken. Look at how cute this puzzle is. Space Chicken. And he says, excuse me, it's a 500-piece puzzle. And he says that this is from a local artist in Portland. And so, it's called right there, Paul Lockhart Fine Art. And so, I mean, come on, this is adorable. I'm so happy and thankful that you sent me this, Sleepy, and I will be doing that soon. Then I had ordered some books from someone who was selling them on Facebook Marketplace. You know what? I think I'm going to need my cough drops. Hold on a second. So sorry about that. So I ordered these books on Facebook Marketplace, and they arrived. You can see behind me, there's a shirt from school. Oh my gosh, wrapping paper. I'm all over the place. So anyways, let me get my Ricola. So I ordered these books mostly because of these three. He was selling these, and they're from the All In, and he was selling them for $7 each. So that would be a lot less than I would get for them at the store, and maybe even on when you buy them online, it still would be cheaper than that. So anyways, there's The Question and Challengers of the Unknown and Justice League Atom Project. Now, these are all kind of minor all-ins, and so I've seen them in the store and I hesitated buying them, and so I'm glad to get them for a cheaper price just because, I'm not sure if they're going to be good. So, that, some of them might. But I also got these. I got Archie Volume 1, which is the Mark Waid and Fiona Staples, and I've heard good things about this. I don't know. Since it was cheap, I think he was selling it for $5 or $7. I decided to grab it. I got another in the New 52. I'm trying to collect all the New 52 graphic novels, and I would say about 75 or 80%. And so this is Justice League International Volume 2, but I don't have Volume 1 in that series. I think that those are $5. This one too, Gotham Academy. This is on plastic, and this is Volume 1 of that. I don't think this is New 52, but it was $5, so I grabbed it. And then also this Batman Incorporated, the complete series. So I don't know if this is good. The art looks kind of interesting in parts, kind of iffy in parts. But this was pretty cheap. I think he sold it to me for $14. And he said if it was over $50, it would be free shipping. I think I ended up paying $53. My husband just let in all the dogs. And so that's kind of why I was hesitating before. They're all kind of getting situated right now. And I got my Ricola, and then I didn't even take one. So I've got... my dog's playing with the wrapping paper. I've got a lot of movie shows and movies and TV shows to go over. Where's my list? I just put... Oh, there it is. But I want to talk about Stranger Things. So I'm not going to spoil it except for one thing, which is kind of going all over the internet. And so, in the 7th episode of season 5, one of the characters comes out as gay, and they make a big coming out scene. And whereas I was just like, well, okay, being gay, I was like, oh, that's fine, but it was slowing the narrative down. I want to see monsters, but I mean, I didn't think anything like bad of it. I was just like, okay, because they had already, this is the second gay character, and they gave reasons behind it. I don't want to spoil everything, but it's become a real controversy in YouTube, and I didn't know about this until I watched the episode, and then I opened up YouTube, and for some reason YouTube knew that I had watched the show or something, and there were these videos about Stranger Things, and it says I don't know if I got the pictures of it. It says Stranger Things goes full gay or something like that. Oh yeah, here they go. They're going full gay, and this is peak cringe. And so I watched one of the videos because I was kind of like, what? And I watched the videos, and there were so many like weird things that the guy said. And then the comments was what really got me. I actually started responding to some of them because they were so homophobic. Like, I don't know. They said, well, if if it has to be between the gays and the monsters, I want the monsters to win. I mean, like really, really homophobic comments. And they were, the guy in the video said, oh, the young actor was groomed to become gay in the show and in real life or something like that. I was just like, everything about the video was just raising up my hackles. And they were saying that, oh, it's part of the entertainment and media system, that they're trying to teach children how to be gay. Just because there was a kid, coming out in the show. I mean, it was just wild. And I don't know, I put a couple comments, like I couldn't stand it. And one guy wrote me back, or some person wrote me back saying that my talking points were stale. I guess because I'm old and what I think is just not relevant anymore. I don't know, like how does like having an opinion on that make you stale, and that someone accused me of gaslighting. I don't know. It's just, this controversy is weird because it's just bringing out all this homophobia, but they wrap it in some kind of like the media is trying to groom everybody, and they have an agenda, and a political agenda, and the woke agenda. And I get it. There's extreme left and extreme right, but most people don't go to the left or the right. And I don't believe that everybody working on Stranger Things is, part of the extreme left woke, and they're trying to like indoctrinate. I mean, this was an argument that they had when I was a kid, that gay people would just indoctrinate young boys. Like, has this not gone away? Like, there's this fear of gay people, and it's like really out there, and it's okay for people to spew their homophobic comments on YouTube. It's like really, not kind of, it's like really, really shocking. Just, hey, I watched Stranger Things. It was fun. It's a fun show. Like, is it, I don't know, is this something that's going to like indoctrinate children? And there was even one comment about how the father watched it with the daughter, and the daughter was like happy and crying about it because she thought it was an amazing scene. And then he took it upon himself to explain how the media was indoctrinating them, and then she was like shocked. And I was like, dang, you just took something really neat, an emotional show and a moment in a show for somebody, and then just totally ruined it. And I mean, I guess as a parent, that's your prerogative, right? But I don't know, maybe I'm going on too long, but if you start reading the comments in these videos, and everybody like chiming in. It's just like it's really gross, and it's a little bit shocking, right? Because all of the, I don't know if you can call it hate speech or not, but there's definitely a lot of homophobic comments in these videos, and they're trying to wrap it. See, they originally wrap it in this like media agenda, but it quickly comes down to people just hating gay people. And it's very clear. Like in the original video, it's couched in that language, but then in the comments, what people really think comes out. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about this. Obviously, it upset me. It bothered me to no end. Of course, I know there are people out there who hate gay people. I mean, come on. Probably most of the world. But it's really strange, you know, to watch a TV show that you like and then have to open up these videos that spew all this hateful, all these hateful ideas and languages. It's really gross. Anyways, I'm going to move on. I watched about 5 movies, 4 or 5 TV shows, and I'm going to go over 2 albums of music. So I'm probably gonna do it in order. I'm not gonna do them all together. I'm just gonna go into the order I wrote them down. So the first movie I'm gonna talk about was called The Great Flood. So I was watching this with my husband, and we picked it because it looked like a natural disaster movie, and that's what it starts out as. This movie is so interesting because it morphs into like 2 or 3 different types of movies. And it definitely becomes sci-fi in its nature. Any movie that has a wall of water coming at people in a city has got me. I just love that kind of natural disaster movie. But this movie becomes so much more than that. Some people probably won't like the directions that it goes in. If you're into sci-fi and a certain, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a certain type of movie out there that I've talked about before. Yeah, no, I'm not going to spoil it. I would say if you're at all interested in a movie that starts out as a disaster movie and becomes so totally sci-fi, if that intrigues you at all, you should watch this movie. It's not going to be to everyone's liking, but I certainly enjoyed it. It's I believe a South Korean movie. The next thing that I watched was a Kolchak episode, number 14, called The Trevi Collection. Now, this is about, it takes place in the fashion industry, and it has an actress that is near and dear to me, and that is Lara Parker, because I am a huge Dark Shadows fan, and Lara Parker plays Angelique, and without Angelique, there is no Barnabas Collins, the vampire. She is responsible for so many crazy situations. They all get thrown into the past for I don't even remember how many weeks. That is all because of Angelique. Barnabas becoming a vampire is because of Angelique. Anyways, she's just an actress that I love, but you know, her acting style is a little over the top. And in this episode, she was in fine form. I could not believe how over the top she was. She plays a witch that is unhinged. And so I have a couple of clips, and we're going to watch Lara Parker, and they're pretty funny. Hold on. You can hear her already. Hold on. Okay, here she is. Let me push. Where's the play? Play. Here it is. She's just so over the top. And now this clip is about 18 seconds, so let's watch this one.
For consorting with the Prince of Darkness.
And there's one final clip where she is in her ultimate glory. I have never seen a woman laugh so maniacally in my life. She deserves an award for this. Let's go ahead and watch this. There we go. Oh my gosh, she's so unhinged in this role. But I gotta love her. She is awesome. So, Lara Parker, great job. And then I watched the next episode, which is number 15, called Chopper. And this is about a headless motorcycle guy who wants to get his head back. And so he's killing all the people that were involved. I'm going to show a clip of him attacking, because it's really quite bad. Okay, so this episode is full of that. It's still a fun episode, but the guy on the motorcycle without the head is pretty hilarious. And then how they just freeze and they don't actually show the beheading is pretty funny. Now this episode also had an actor, and I forgot to look him up, and I believe he's in I think he plays Caligula, or he plays Herod, or I think he's from Jesus Christ Superstar, or I can't remember. If somebody remembers, put it in the comments, because this guy normally plays like he's like really histrionic, kind of like Lara Parker, but here he's a snob, and he plays a snob so well. Let's go ahead and
Supernatural aspects of the reign of...
That guy is awesome. And yeah, I'm probably going to get blasted in the comments because I didn't do my research. But I love his acting. So I was really happy to see him in this episode of Kolchak. Now, I do have another episode of Kolchak coming up. But I'm going to go ahead and go back to some movies. So another movie we watched was called Brick. Let me find oh, here it is. So this is about an apartment complex that they wake up in the morning and the entire apartment complex is surrounded by this brick-like pattern, and they can't get through it. So basically they're isolated. Now they are able to break through the walls of the apartment and go through the floors, and that's kind of what they end up doing, and they start meeting other people in the apartment complex. But the whole outside of the entire building is encased in this bricks, all the windows, all the doors. And so this is a horror movie where, these people are trying to figure out what happened. And I'm going to say it was a fun movie in many ways, kind of predictable. I do like that they actually explained what was going on. So I'm going to say that this was an enjoyable movie if you like this kind of like claustrophobic kind of horror movie where you're left in the dark and you're trying to figure out like survival and that kind of thing. Yeah, I would say that this is worth watching, but it's nothing amazing. Next, we watched a movie called Vicious, and this stars Dakota Fanning. And it's like, if anybody knows the short story, The Box, or Button, that type of thing. So Dakota Fanning is given a box, and she must do 3 things in order to survive. So it increases, and there's a lot of like body horror in this. Like she has to cut off her own fingers and toes, and she has to try to save loved ones from being victims of this box, and that's egging her on to do worse things. She must also try to pass on the box to someone else, and she knows, they're going to have to go through the same kind of thing. So this was a tour de force for Dakota Fanning. I enjoyed watching her. I thought she did a really good job. Maybe the script is a little bit lacking, but still it made up for it in kind of like, body horror gore. I would recommend it if you're into that kind of situation. Again, this is nothing that is boundary changing, but just an enjoyable horror movie before bed. Okay, and I didn't understand why it was called Vicious. I thought it should have had, the whole situation is vicious. Maybe the box calls on people with vicious personalities in order to get what it needs, but I thought it should have had a different title. The next movie is, I think it's going to be the last. Yeah, this is the last movie. Is called Slingshot. Now, this is a sci-fi movie with two really good actors in it, right? So Casey Affleck and Lawrence Fishburne. And they are on a spaceship, and they need to get to a moon of Saturn, I believe. And they have to slingshot around Jupiter in order to get there. And so they keep having to go in and out of hypersleep, or what is it called? I forget, like sleep, the suspended animation. And it's starting to affect them in weird ways. And they're a discovery mission because, there's something going on Earth, and they need to find, a new place. And I guess that moon of Titan has it has some kind of, I forget what it is. It's not water, but it has something buried, and they need to know if they could use it to help Earth. Okay, that's all incidental. They have to get to that planet, and along the way, the hypersleep is starting to affect them in different ways. I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. This is going to be one of those movies, again, you're locked in a small space. And I actually watched this with a friend, and she actually didn't like the fact that they were like, stuck in one place. But the acting kept me going, and the situations, and it slowly starts to change, and you're trying to question, like, are the characters sane, or are they just making bad judgments because of the hypersleep? Who's being affected, and to what degree? And I was quite happy with this movie all the way up to the end. I really enjoyed it, and there's a lot of little things that you can look at as clues throughout the movie to that kind of get you thinking as to where this is going. And it's one of those kind of fun sci-fi movies, but it is quite dark. And so if you want your sci-fi movies to be upbeat, you are not going to want to watch this movie. Next, Kolchak episode 16. And you know what? I don't think I grabbed any pictures of that one. So let me do it real fast. And this one is called Demon in Lace. And I'm actually Demon in Lace. I'm forgetting Kolchak. I'm actually forgetting which one this is about. Oh, yeah. Now I remember. So this is... There's a demon loose, and he or she inhabits recently deceased females, and goes around killing people. And it's because there's been a tablet that has been unearthed, and the demon has been released because of that. It was a really fun episode, and I actually think the clip that I showed about the actor goes with this episode. Ooh, Jeff, Cable Cool Books, he's gonna murder me because he likes his actors and everything to be precise. You better know what you're talking about, and I never do. I'm just watching these and enjoying them. I did enjoy this episode. In fact, I enjoyed all the episodes, and I only have 4 left for this series. Now, originally, I heard that they were going to be removed from, which one is it? Peacock? I think I'm watching them on Peacock. But then recently they removed that notification. So I'm just hoping that the 4 episodes aren't gone and that I'm going to be able to watch them this week. Okay, now we come to the first book. The first book that I listened to was called In the Garden of Eden or Eden. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. In the Garden of Eden. And it says, a novel of the company. Now, this Cage Baker wrote a short story that I listened to or read recently, and I was intrigued. And so I reviewed that story, I don't know, a couple weeks back. So I went ahead and put this novel in my queue, and it's the first novel of the company. And it's really, really good initially. That's probably going to be a theme with the two books that I'm going to talk about. It talks about how so basically the people in these that work for the company, they are immortals, and they are picked by the company so that they can live throughout history and do things that the company needs. For example, they need the person in this story is a botanist, and she is in charge of finding plants that have gone extinct, and those plants, are needed for medicinal purposes or whatever in the future. And so what's really cool about this is they set up how this girl was recruited. So she was a young girl, sold away from her family, and then it was during the time of the Spanish Inquisition, and she falls in with the wrong people, and she's up for witchcraft. And the whole background of this is really, really interesting. And so then they put her in the company, and the training that she has to go through. And then after that, she gets put on an assignment, and she's in like a manor. And from there on, it just became kind of typical. It was like all these people in a manor, and they're, trying to live there. And it became very samey for me at that point. It wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I just was kind of like, oh, okay. So now that she's on assignment, and I remember it also became very romance. There was a big romance that was going on, and that was derailing the whole thing and affecting her abilities and blah, 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 blah. So I'm glad that I listened to this book in the Garden of Eden. And if you like romance, especially in sci-fi, then you're going to enjoy this book a lot. I would give it like a 3.8 out of 5. It wasn't bad, like I said, but I was kind of like, I wanted more. I thought the character was fascinating. I would have preferred, having more of what she went through over time, rather than just the second or maybe 2/3 of the book just stuck in one place where she was trying to get some plants. And then the next, I have one more book. I also have the 2 albums, so I'll save those for last. So I'm going to talk about the next book, which is called The Ministry of Time. And The Ministry of Time was nominated for the Hugo Award. I think it was a finalist. And this is by Kayleigh Bradley, The Ministry of Time. So with the title like that, I was interested. So after reading this book, I was kind of like, I loved the beginning. And then it became a romance, and the writer, the reviewers did say that this was a book that was trying to mix genres, and that's absolutely true. There's a lot of time travel. There's time flipping in on itself. It's people coming back in time to try to change the future because the future is horrible. And the beginning of this book is a character that is indoctrinated to this whole system, and we're with her because we don't understand anything that's going on. And the whole beginning of this book is fascinating, because this woman is hired as a handler, and she's called a bridge, and she's assigned a person who is rescued from the past. So people in the past are able to be retrieved after they've been notified that they're officially dead in the records, and so they're able to grab them. But these have psychological effects on the people that are brought into the future. And that's one thing that I really, really appreciated about this book, is that it takes time with these characters, because it treats them as if they're human beings who have to adjust to being pulled out of time. And I thought that was really refreshing. And so the handler and the guy that she is being tasked to watch, he came from one of those Arctic disasters, and the psychology behind it, what the Arctic explorers, who went out on ships trying to find like the North Pole or South Pole or what have you, just exploring the Arctic. And he was retrieved from one of those, and like he finds out what happens to everybody else on that. And she got the idea of writing this book by watching the show The Terror, which I actually haven't watched yet, and I've been meaning to. And that's also written by a really famous sci-fi writer. I didn't read that book either, but I read. Oh, and I'm forgetting the name of the book, but the book won the Hugo, and I read its follow-up. It's about this group of pilgrims who are going to like a doomed planet to visit some kind of alien that's like a life form that is a godlike life form. And wow, was that book amazing. Same writer. I know I'm being very vague. I'm just so bad with remembering all these names and everything, which again, I know that's frustrating for many YouTube, especially booktubers, because they're very precise about their titles and their authors and, who did this and what actor was in that. I'm just not like that. Sorry. But anyways, I digress. So she got the idea from watching that, and she took a minor character from that, and he's the one who became the main character in this book. Now, I am going to have to say that it gets muddled down in a romance, and I think that really, for me, like I'm not really that inclined. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just not, what I'm interested in really spending a lot of time with. It certainly wasn't bad, but I mean, like, there's a really long sex scene, and involving pinching nipples and all these other things in there that, I mean, hey, read that if you want to, but I mean, I did. And then in the end, it becomes really muddled, maybe because I had lost interest, but the end becomes very, very muddled. But this book is getting really good reviews, and I think they've opted it for a BBC show and maybe even a cable movie. I'm not sure exactly about that. So, The Ministry of Time by Kai Leanne Bradley. All right, so now we have the two recordings that I kind of lived with this week. Now, the first one was Mark Morris got me all into disco because he made a comment that got my hackles up. So he said that he hated disco, and that kind of like, I could go on and on and on why that statement is just hair raising to me. And he got a little bit in the comments. I love Mark. Nope. Nothing against him, but I didn't like that comment. And so that kind of got me into a disco mood. And so I started listening to Donna Summer's first album. And I don't think I've ever listened to it before. And it's called, let me see what it's called. It looks like this, Lady of the Night. And I'm going to play 4 tracks because this is definitely, so let me talk a little bit of history. So Donna Summer was singing backup vocals for Three Dog Night when she was discovered by Giorgio Moroder and I believe somebody else. And so this album, Lady of the Night, I think was only put out in the Netherlands. Anyways, it was only put out in one European country. And in fact, there's a song on this album that was put on this album, but it actually wasn't put onto the CD, and that was called Full of Emptiness. And that's a song that I actually know because she then used it and recorded it on her next album, which that's an album I actually do know. And I love that song. So this album that she made is very unlike her disco stuff. It's more a melange of like, let's try to find her genre where she's comfortable. You're going to hear a lot of 70s rock. You're going to hear a lot of kind of country rock in this. You're going to, there's just even like doo-wop kind of stuff. Like you're going to hear different genres in this. And at first, it took me a little while for this album to warm up to me, but what's apparent from the get-go is how strong her voice is. Like she is a powerhouse, and it's immediately noticeable on this album. So this song is called "Lady of the Night," and yeah, it's about a hooker. So let's go ahead and listen to "Lady of the Night." Okay, so I let it run a little bit extra so that you could hear the type of genre. Like you really hear that kind of like 60s influence on that song. But you can also hear the power of her voice. She controls that recording. So this next song is Friends. Now, there are a couple of songs in here with like sappy or melodramatic, but well-meaning lyrics. And they're not bad songs by any means, but I'm just giving you that warning. All right. Let's hear that again. Did you hear her voice? Right now. Wow. Okay, the next song is The Hostage.
Hello?
Lady, we've just kidnapped your husband. Have $800,000 ready by tomorrow night. And lady, no police, or you'll never see your husband alive again.
Hello?
Okay, that didn't feature her singing, but I was just so tickled by the beginning of that song. It's quite funny and dramatic, and that was actually a hit in where it was put out. So the last one we're gonna hear is Okay, do that at karaoke. I dare you. Again, are these like the best songs ever? No, but wow, this is a great album because her voice just makes a common song just stand out. I really grew to like this album, and of course, it's not as good as her other stuff, but wow, did I enjoy this. Her voice is just phenomenal. All right, and the last song, or the last album that I'm going to talk about, I have to open up Spotify because I didn't get clips, and that's because I don't even know if I can use Spotify on here. Let me see. I don't know. Okay, let's see if I can. I'm going to search, and that was Tangerine Dream, and the album is called Rubycon, R-U-B-Y. And the reason I listened to this is because I saw that there was a video and that they were talking about the 50th anniversary. So it got a 50th anniversary release. Now, I really never listened much to Tangerine Dream, except I have the album Phaedra. It's so highly recommended. I listened to that, and I did review it a few years ago, and I loved it. This album, let me go ahead and pull the so this is the cover, and I just started playing it. It's basically a soundscape. And it's only 2 tracks, the original album. And I'm just going to skip through it so you can hear a little bit. So I don't know if you can hear that, but it's very of its time, and that doesn't mean it's bad. It definitely sounds like an '80s soundtrack. It definitely sounds like the other kind of new age electronic music that I've listened to, but it is a beautiful recording. Now, my husband bought me some earphones. They're wireless. And he had a pair of them, and he said, "Oh, the sound is so good." He went ahead and bought me a pair. And so I listened to this recording last night and this morning with those headphones. And what I noticed is that, the sound moves all around. And like, it's hard to come across in this video, but as like that vibrating thing went, it would go like this over here. And so there's a lot going on in the sound engineering of this recording that, for example, if you just listen to it on an iPad, you don't hear as much. And I've been listening to this with a sound bar as I read at night. And so I don't think that has surround sound. I think this recording would be really, really good if you have a great stereo, or if you have some really good headphones that will separate the sound like that and move it across, and you can feel it around you. This is a beautiful recording to listen to. So even my husband doesn't really like this type of music, but I sent it to him. I said, like, just listen to the beginning with your headphones, and he was like, wow, yeah, you can hear the sounds going like this. And so that's always kind of really interesting. So I think if you're going to listen to this type of album, then you should hear it in that kind of soundscape, because I think it really adds to the ambiance of what you're listening to. But is this the most amazing? No. It's fun. It's nice. It's a nice listen. Now, I might come off sounding ignorant because some people say like this is like one of those amazing, groundbreaking, and that's probably true, because I've heard so much other stuff that is similar to this. And this is probably one of those groundbreaking recordings that led to all of those things. But since I already have heard those and much more, and so that kind of clouds this. But I absolutely enjoyed listening to this recording. There are 2 tracks, like I said, and each track is about 17 to 18 minutes. And I think the deluxe version has an extra track called the extended introduction, and I think that's another 15 minutes. So there you have it. Garage Geek went on and on about Stranger Things and the controversy that's going on. I showed you some new comics that I got. I went over a bunch of movies like The Great Flood, Brick, Vicious, Slingshot, and I talked about 4 Kolchak episodes, I think 4. Also the Great Flood movie. The Trevi Collection, Chopper, and Demon and Lace. Oh no, that was only 3. And then I talked about a couple books called In the Garden of Eden, and The Ministry of Time. And then 2 albums, Donna Summer's Lady of the Night, which was her first recording, and a Tangerine Dreams Rubicon, spelled Rubycon. All right, and so that's it. Now, one thing that I didn't do, which I really wanted to, is I wanted to have some more comics read, but time just got away from me and I didn't get any. And so I hope that I'll have some comics read and be able to review them for next week. As always, your comments are always greatly appreciated. And if you don't agree with me about Stranger Things, that's totally fine. I would love to hear that. But, of course, let's have a respectful discussion. Unless, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if some people can. I better just stop talking about that right now. I mean, if you have certain beliefs that are directly against what I live or believe, then of course it's going to be hard to have a discussion about that. I'm talking about you trolls out there. But I mean, I don't know what can you do. I right now I'm putting myself out there, and I know that that could invite a lot of hate, but it really is difficult for me to just be silent when something like that is going on. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop. And again, I'd love to have your comments for the most part this time. And your support is always, always greatly appreciated. Hopefully, I'll be able to get a shower soon.